I'm just gonna say this out loud for the first time. If I had looked into making cosplay a business years ago, I'd be unstoppable. On YouTube, I have 90,000 subscribers as of today. Woo! Instagram, I have like 250,000, and TikTok is a little over 500,000. Guess which one makes me the most money? Cosplay wasn't really a big thing. Anime conventions weren't really a big thing. I mean, it was like 2005, 2006. It was the first time I ever went to a con, and I met so many cool people there. Like, my little nerd heart went flutter, 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 and grew 3 times the size that day. Don't let the world steal your joy. If you can keep that childlike wonder and love of the world that you had when you were younger, you can get it back. 100%. Strive for that joy. And if something doesn't exist in the world and you wish there was something, make it happen.
Hello, Project Ultimate Lifers. We have Sarah Bryce here, who is a cosplay actress online YouTube. Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you come from, what you do, and how you got to here in this time, space, and reality.
So my name is Sarah Bryce. I like to tell people I come from my mom.
You told me that.
I do.
I laughed.
Yeah, because I don't really have a from. I'm from a military family, and I'm in the military, so I'm a bit of a rolling stone myself. But right now I'm currently in Maryland. I'm in the Air Force, but here at Vid Summit, I'm here for Air Force stuff, but also for cosplay, which is like my main passion and my social media hobby.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. What is cosplay for people that don't know?
So cosplay comes from 2 words, costume, play. It's a word that came from Japan, but it's all about like dressing up as your favorite character and going to Comic-Con. That's like the bare bones basic of what cosplay is. So like dress up as Supergirl, Wonder Woman, go to Comic-Con, pretend to be Wonder Woman, etc. But there's a lot more that goes into cosplay. For me, cosplay is storytelling, it's taking photos, it's meeting other people in the same genre and just going with a bit at the same time. Like, oh, you're the hero, you're the villain, and then you just have an impromptu skit right there. You can make so many friends just through cosplay, and cosplay creates so many avenues of just interacting with people that you normally don't have.
What inspired you to kind of get into cosplay and you know, make that part of your life?
So it all started when I was 16, senior year of high school. I opened the newspaper, I know it's a foreign concept now, and I just saw an advertisement for this small little convention in the area that weekend, so I impulsively rung up a friend and I was like, hey, David, let's go to the convention. So we hopped on the metro, because it was DC area, and just went one day. It was called KatsuCon. It was very new, very upcoming, and cosplay wasn't really a big thing. Anime conventions weren't really a big thing. I mean, it was like 2005, 2006. It was the first time I ever went to a con, and I met so many cool people there. Webcomic artists that always seemed so unobtainable, and like my little nerd heart went flutter, 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 and grew 3 times the size that day. And then the next time I went to a convention, it was in Baltimore Comic Con, and I thought it was super, super fun. And I started noticing all the cosplayers, and I'm like, that looks like fun. So the 3rd time I ever went to a convention, I had made my own Princess Peach costume. There weren't like pre-made costumes available at that time, back in my day. And I was in full Princess Peach, an umbrella, like a pretty hat. I had to learn how to style my wigs, do my makeup. I didn't know any of this stuff. So I learned it all in one go. And I never looked back. I have not gone to a convention out of cosplay since. And that was probably in 2009, 2010 is when I started cosplaying.
Wow, that's incredible. Tell us a little bit about your channel. How did you get into it? How many followers do you have?
Okay. And
what does that all look like for you?
So on YouTube, I have 90,000 subscribers as of today. Woo! Instagram, I have like 250,000, and TikTok is a little over 500,000.
Wow.
Yeah. Guess which one makes me the most money?
What?
The smallest one, YouTube.
Amazing.
And YouTube is just like such a cool and growing platform. So that's one reason why I'm here at Vid Summit is like, oh my gosh, there's something here. I want to know what it is and how I can use it, because in the cosplay community, we're all just here for funsies. making cosplay a business is almost a foreign concept to a lot of cosplayers. I'd say the majority of them, even ones with large platforms, don't really know how to use it a lot of times. And that's why I'm at Vid Summit. That's one of the reasons for my fun side. And I'm also here for business. So I'm here with the military. Because I have such a large social media platform, I'm known as the social media expert at the DoD facility that I'm at. And I'm rewriting the whole program on how to use social media in the military. And I'm realizing how powerful and important the future of social media is for YouTube. So I want to come here and get a lot of information and then bring that back to the military and figure out how we can incorporate that in training in the future.
Yeah, that's incredible. What have been some of the largest maybe challenges or roadblocks that you've experienced, either whether it's in cosplay or in life? And how did you kind of overcome those?
So one of the biggest challenges I've had was a personal career thing in the military. So I'm a broadcaster, I'm a videographer, news desk, anchor, radio, stuff like that. And I was stationed in a really cool place in Japan. Like I was sent out all over the Pacific to tell stories, a one-man band, like interviewing, narrating, sending everything up, kind of like we're doing here. I would light studios when I can, I would voice over, everything. So such a cool opportunity, and I got grounded from doing all the fun stuff because I was making silly little mistakes, and I always had a reason. I was always blaming something, and it wasn't really my fault. And then I looked at myself, and I was like, no, I'm looking at the man in the mirror. It's time, take a look at yourself and make a change, right? Like as some famous musician once said. I realized it was me. And I took a break for a little bit. I actually took some time off of work. I read How to Win Friends and Influence People, game changer for my career. And I took a Dale Carnegie class too about like interacting with people. And I kind of just changed my mindset and my course in life. I know it's a very vague thing to say, but like by the time I came back, I took about a week off. Came back, changed my mindset, took responsibility for my mistakes, and started making changes in it, like making ways that I wouldn't make the same mistake again. My fitness was kind of downfalling too, and so I started working on that, asking for advice, asking for help, which I've always struggled with. And then I turned around, and by the time I left that place in Japan, the person who's criticizing me the most was my biggest supporter. And he's like, "You're going to do great, Sarah." And that was amazing. One of my biggest wins in life.
That's awesome. Can you talk a bit more about some of the changes that you made in case some people are maybe looking at the same things and needing to do something similar?
I think we've all had that friend or are that friend where it's like, if something's going wrong, it's woe is me and everyone's against me and it's someone else's fault. It's not. If you're always saying that, some of that is you. And you do what you can control, which is your attitude and how you handle things and how you talk to people, how you see the world. And with Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, a lot of it is just understanding and liking people and taking responsibility, taking an interest in things other than yourself. And that was really eye-opening. I've always been a people person, but I've always been me-centered because I think we're all kind of like the own center of our own little universe. Like we're very centered on our wants and our needs, but being more aware of other people's wants and needs is very important. So like I have to know what my job needs, what my boss needs, what drives them and motivates them, and meet them halfway. Instead of like, oh, my boss doesn't know anything, I'll do it this way. No, find out what your boss wants and do what your boss wants, and then maybe offer some opportunities. Other than that, some other ideas, but be okay with your boss wants something a certain way. That's okay. Your boss pays your bills too. So
yeah, love that. Very cool. And what did you do to switch your mindset? Was it instantaneous? Were you practicing any strategies?
The Dale Carnegie class that I went to, it was an English class in the heart of Tokyo. So I was very lucky that they had an English class, and I paid like $1,000 or something to go to this course. I believe it was a 3-day course, and they just taught you how to interact with people, and a lot of it was just hands-on. There's a conflict. They simulate a conflict, and you have to talk to one person in a conflict resolution and practice. Like, you can read something all day, you can listen to a podcast all day, but until you actually practice how to navigate conflicts, how to negotiate, how to understand what other people are thinking and meet them halfway, it doesn't help. You can read as many books as you want, but unless you apply it, you cannot really learn fully.
Now, you mentioned that you were a military brat, or you grew up in the military, traveling around a lot. What did that teach you, if anything?
Military children are very good at making friends very quickly. You kind of have to. I mean, I was lucky where my sister and I were roughly the same age, so we always had each other until we had friends. But you learn to just immediately be like, you're my friend now. What do you like? Okay, I kind of like that too. And yes, kids are kind of like that, but when you get a little bit older, it's harder to integrate yourself into a new location. I feel like even introverted military children learn a lot of extroverted practices of just like adopting people or adopting themselves into an interest group because you have to, because you move so much. It's not a wrong thing, it's just different. Some people will go their whole lives with like one group of really close friends, and you might have that in the military, you might not. I'm really bad with the follow through of like following up with old friends. So maybe that's something that I would recommend that anyone who is a military child works on, keeping a support group wherever you go. Especially now that like the internet, it's really easy to just send a message or an email or something and keep in touch with people.
Yeah.
FaceTime, Skype.
Okay, that's cool. Was there anything that you experienced that was of any form of significance that you apply today or that you incorporate into your cosplay business?
I don't know if it's necessarily being a military child. I think for me, just personality based, I just really, really like people. I'm always thinking of new ideas. I'm always creating. The minute somebody says something that they're interested in, I'm immediately coming up with several ideas of things that they can do for videos or posts or something. My brain never shuts off. My challenge is I don't have the time in the day to do all of the ideas I want to do. Another challenge being because I'm in the military and I have a 1 hour one-way commute, I have less time in my day. So I'm really glad with this Vid Summit that there's a lot of AI options for streamlining things, because I'm going to need help in terms of some of the things that might take me more time, because I need to cut down with my time because I only have so much time in my day.
During that commute, do you use it as an opportunity to learn, or how do you spend your time?
So my commute is usually full of me listening to podcasts or audiobooks, mostly audiobooks, but sometimes podcasts. I think I just subscribed to 2 new podcasts with growth and YouTube and all that through some recommendations today. But that's actually how I found out about Vid Summit. Is I downloaded the YouTube formula from the DoD library. It was an audiobook. I listened to it once and I'm like, there's good information. Some of this information I might have forgotten. I can't write it down because I'm driving. Let me listen to it again. I really like this information. Let me listen to it again. I listened to it 3 times in a row. And then Facebook caught on, and I think they advertised Vid Summit on Facebook, and that's when I was like, oh, that's cool. I want to go to that. I had no idea that they were correlated until like right when I was buying Vid Summit tickets, and I recognized the author or like the creator of Vid Summit or the person advertising it was the same author of the YouTube formula. So it's crazy how that works.
The algorithm, it works both for you and against you.
In this case, it was for me, thankfully, for once.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go back to the conversation around cosplay and your business there and what that looks like. What does an average sort of filming session look like for you?
Okay, I have a confession.
Oh, tell us.
Cosplay has always been just a funsy hobby thing for me. I never really thought I would make money. Occasionally I would work for big companies and just do a little thing here and there. I was undervaluing myself. I didn't realize that it could be monetized in like a constant way until I really started making a leeway on YouTube. So like a daily content thing isn't really a thing for me. It used to be just whenever I want to get in cosplay. Maybe I'll do it over the weekend. I'll shoot for several hours because I have so many ideas and so little time. And then I'll post them. I have so much content, I could post like 2 a day for a month and not run out of anything after shooting for a few hours in my room. Now, the quality of it is so-so. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's more intentional, when I'm working for something for a business or for long-form content or to make something truly viral, it might take a little more effort. And I'm going toward that in the future. But it's usually either something short in my little TikTok studio that I have. It's also my cosplay studio where all my costumes are in my closets. It's either just filming in my studio or doing impulsive, fun skits and stuff when I'm at a convention with other people. Mm-hmm. And that does really well too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's incredible. What would you say to somebody who is wanting to kind of just get into cosplay or even wanting to learn to really like embrace and appreciate it for what it is?
So it's interesting you asked that. I have a lot of people do ask, hey, Sarah, how do I get into cosplay? How do I start? I want to start. I'm scared. I don't want to be judged, or I don't know if I have the money or the time. First thing you got to do is just get started. And I say it seems like it's a very simple answer, but open up your closet. Is there something there that looks like a costume? Maybe like Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. He wears a little shirt and a little hat. Like, it's kind of iconic. But even Brock from Pokemon, he just has a little green jacket, I think, and some brown pants and just squinty eyes. That's pretty easy. Mm-hmm. So you could start easy from your closet, or you can have an idea of what you want and go to the thrift store and go thrifting for something mm-hmm. simple. You don't even have to sew. You don't even have to do wigs if you don't want to, but just get started. It helps if you have an idea of what character you want to do. Get an idea of what character you want to do, open your closet. If that doesn't work, go to the thrift store. If that doesn't work, maybe you can buy a used costume on some of the like Facebook Marketplace. Mm-hmm. If that doesn't work, you can buy a fairly cheap Halloween costume. And if you like higher quality, you can go to a cosplay store. And then like the top tier is commission it from somebody who hand makes that stuff. That's expensive. Mm. If you have the time, but not the money, you can try and learn how to sew it on your own, but that's a longer journey.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's impressive. Lots of skills.
There's a lot. That was a very long explanation.
Yeah, no, that's incredible though. That's really cool. Now, what does a Comic-Con experience look like? Because I've heard you mention it. I've mm-hmm. heard of it. I've never been. I know I've been to many conferences. We're learning, we're experiencing. What does Comic-Con look like? Besides people dressing up in costumes.
Yeah.
Embracing that identity.
Well, Comic-Con in general has like a lot of nerdy situations. So you'll have very famous voice actors or actors. Like very large conventions will have maybe people from, I don't know, playing Captain America or Iron Man. You'll get those kind of actor levels in the bigger conventions. You'll have voice actors, you'll have artists, you'll have webcomic artists, graphic designers, lots and lots of voice actors from all the nerdy things, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You'll get Power Ranger actors from when I was a child making the rounds. You have voice actors from the most popular games, video games, movies, etc. And you'll have panels from experts, like how to make a costume, or you'll have showings of new animes or showings of new technology. Conventions are so uniquely tailored to literally anything that you want, you could probably find there. They'll even have concerts and raves and stuff. They'll have costume contests. Conventions are so ginormous. There's something for everyone. For me, I don't even go for the entertainment. Mm-hmm. I go for people.
Okay.
Sometimes I won't even attend a single panel. Most times. I don't go to a single event. I don't go to a single panel. I will just hang out, talk to people, learn about people's stories, take photos, do photo shoots, make silly TikToks. That's what I do. That's what makes me happy. The mm-hmm. people make me happy, and the creation and the art makes me happy. Mm. I might go to a panel. I might go to Artist Alley and buy some like handmade art, or look at like the newest video games or something. But that's not what drives me. Conventions are for anybody. If whatever you're driven for, you'll probably find it there.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's awesome. So between conventions and conferences and your YouTube channel and your job with the military, How do you take care of yourself to be able to balance all of that without going insane?
That's a great question. So in the past, I haven't been the best at balancing those things because I'll just let things pile up and just do the fun parts and then ignore all the other things. I've had ups and downs with that. The ups are great, like everything's clean. And then the downs are, oh my gosh, I never unpacked my costume from this other convention because it's hours and hours of unpacking and cleaning and all that stuff. And then it just like swamps me and overwhelms me. So it's kind of an up and down. I'm in an up situation right now where especially being at this convention has helped motivate me where I have a goal now, which is really, really helpful. Having a goal versus just having fun for the sake of having fun.
What is your goal?
Well, my goal is, I haven't fully fleshed it out, but there is a light at the end of the staircase. And the first step was realizing that, oh my gosh, I can probably monetize and do something big with YouTube. Second step, go to Vid Summit. I've got some more steps that I need to fill in before I can get higher up, but I definitely want to work with larger companies. There's a whole list that I would love to pitch with. I'm in the process of getting some merch started. I've talked to other merch companies up there at Vid Summit, and I have a better idea of what other items I'd like to sell, and possibly working with AI to make things better, and improving my videos for better YouTube content so I can grow my audience and grow profits, and so we can all like just have more fun together.
That's incredible. So going back to taking care of yourself then. So now you've got this goal. Now what are you going to do? How are you going to implement some of that stuff? Because you said you're in an up, you're feeling good, you've got your goal, you've got clarity, right? Now you know your action steps to be able to accomplish that goal.
So one thing I think I was lacking for a while was a good support system for like keeping me going for stuff like that, because I've been almost a one-man band for a while, like the little engine that could. I think I can, I think I can. Right? But I have found so many like-minded people here who have kept me inspired and made me realize I'm not by myself and I can do this. There's someone I met who's a photographer, and one of his hobbies is martial arts. And I'm like, great. You know, I've been always trying to learn how to do the splits. And I think it would also be really great for a specific kicking character that I have. She's a martial artist. And I'm like, I would love to do the poses that the character does. So maybe we can collab together. And that is also keeping me accountable for like fitness and goals. I've wanted to do the splits my entire adult life, and I've never really fully committed to it. But having people that are eager to do the same things I do is keeping me committed. So I've connected with so many people. So now I'm kind of committed just because everyone's like, we're all kind of relying on each other. Yeah, we've got energy. We're keeping each other motivated, but also it's almost like accidental accountability partners, which I think we all need. I live by myself, so it's very easy to let myself go and like, no one else is here to see this stuff. But now there's people. There's people here. They'll see it.
100%. I can relate so much. I believe it's the Enneagram 7 in us.
Oh,
for sure.
yeah.
The enthusiasts.
I need like a manager for my life, or maybe I'll just get married and have a husband like breathing down my neck and be like, Sarah, are you doing what you need to do? Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
I'll get married just so I can have someone to keep me accountable. That's the right reason to get married, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for too. So, just kidding. Well, half kidding. Okay, yeah, great. If you had an opportunity to share anything with this audience, what would that be?
In terms of cosplay or motivation
Or life.
or two things. Don't let the world steal your joy. If you can keep that childlike wonder and love of the world that you had when you were younger, you can get it back. 100%. Strive for that joy. And if something doesn't exist in the world and you wish there was something, make it happen. I guarantee you other people want the same thing you want, but they're just not making it happen. Find a way to make it happen. Find a way to yes.
Very cool. If somebody was at the beginning of their journey,
Okay.
or they were maybe between the ages of, we'll call it 27 and 33, or somewhere in their life, doesn't even matter their age, they're along the path somehow, and they're looking to either make a change or start something new or overcome something big or push through roadblocks, what advice would you give them?
ask for help. Nobody in the world who has been extremely successful has done it on their own. There's always somebody in your corner. You might say, oh, my family never supported me, and look at me now, I'm great. There's someone mentoring you or supporting you or saying, do it, you can grow. Mm-hmm. You can become better than you are. I support what you're doing, or I'll invest in you. You need a support group. You need somebody on your side. Mm-hmm. Maybe just start a Discord channel if you do Discord, or find a Facebook support group. I know many people who have always said, oh, well, there's no one in my town who'll do that. Just the same mentality I had before I went to read the Dale Carnegie book and went through his course. I was always making excuses, and I find many people that way. Well, they'll always have a reason why they can't achieve something, and there's always something. I will offer an option, and they always have a reason why they're shooting it down or they can't do it. Mm-hmm. So then you come up with an idea. How are you going to find a support group? If Facebook doesn't work for you, how are you going to find another group? If Meetup doesn't work for you, how are you going to find another group? Make your own. Mm. If it doesn't exist, make your own. Oh, I'm an introvert. Make your own. Introverts are the most superpowered people in the world because they can pretend to be extroverted. Mm-hmm. So being introverted isn't an excuse at all. At all. The best extroverts are usually introverts.
Mm. That makes so much sense. So how important is it to take ownership and be radically honest about yourself with where you are, what you're doing, and where you want to go?
If you can't have ownership and accountability for your actions and where you're at in life and why you're at in life, you can't grow. Because that means if you're not taking ownership, you're not taking that bit that's very uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable. And that means you're growing. If you're comfortable, you're not growing. If taking ownership and accountability for your actions and where you're going and where you aren't right now isn't something that you're doing, that means you're not growing. Mm. So for me, I know for a fact, I'm just going to say this out loud for the first time, if I had looked into making cosplay a business years ago, I'd be unstoppable. Mm. If I had had this drive that I have only now achieved since Vid Summit, I would have been absolutely been a big influencer, making a lot. Well, big is relative. Some would consider me a big influencer. Mm-hmm. I would absolutely be making bank. I would be working with great people. I'd be probably traveling the world, making really cool content. Mm-hmm. And I still can. I just am 10 years later than how I could have been because my potential is very high. I believe in myself. I know my talents. I have some natural gifts that are really, really good, but I also have some natural pitfalls that I just ignored for years. And then I just said, you know what? I'm just having fun. It's okay to do all this stuff. It's okay to not pursue this more. And I really should have looked into it, and I really should have asked for help or created a group of people who are like-minded and want to learn to grow. Mm. I would be in such a different place if I hadn't just ignored all of that stuff.
Mm. I feel like you are literally probably talking to, there's 8 billion people on the planet, probably 7 billion people, mm-hmm. right? For sure, me. I've been traveling for 20 years, yeah. right? 10 years abroad outside of the United States. What did I do with that? How did I bring value to people? I didn't. So I'm in the same boat. So yeah. I congratulate you for having that because I'm there with you. We're in the same space. I love it. So that being said, how important is self-belief, and how does one go about cultivating that within themselves?
Oh man, I almost feel like that's a guru answer, but it shouldn't be. I think everybody has a different response for that. I feel like I'm still figuring that out. I believe in myself, but I've always had pretty strong self-confidence. That might come with me personally versus other people don't have a lot of confidence. Some of that is my upbringing. Mm. My parents were very supportive in everything I did. They didn't understand me being artsy-fartsy. No one else in my family was. So they're just good job, Sarah. I don't understand it, but I support your weird thing with art and everything. They bought me the Pokemon theme song for sheet music for my trumpet for my birthday, which was really cool because I'm nerdy and I like music and all that stuff. I've dabbled a little bit in art. I had somebody who believed in me. Mm-hmm. I know I said it before, but unless you have someone supporting you It's very hard to succeed, to truly succeed and become an incredible, great person in life without that. So a lot of people are not supported by the people they love the most. Maybe they're stuck in a bad situation. Find somebody who is like-minded. Find your people. I would say you're my people. We understand each other, and we understand each other's drive. So I immediately clicked with you, and we were immediately like, let's discuss more. If you click with someone, do the extrovert thing, even if you're uncomfortable, and just tell them, I like you, I vibe with you, I would love to talk more. Let's support each other. It's uncomfortable, but unless you're uncomfortable, you're not growing.
So fear, false evidence appearing real. People don't take action because fear gets in the way. Did fear ever stop you from doing something, and how were you able to overcome it?
This might seem like a little bit, but I didn't know how to start more business proposals and talking to businesses and maybe negotiating and stuff like that. I've had businesses reach out to me a few times, but I got a recommendation of this company to work with through another mutual who was like, hey, they work really well, they can get you businesses. And I didn't know how to do things on my own. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna let them do it. Usually agents will get like 20% off of it. That's typically off of big things, big companies that you work with. So I accepted. I'm like, yes, please, someone else take the wheel. I don't know what I'm doing. But recently, like, we've gone our separate ways. It was literally right before Vid Summit. And I'm like, I still don't know what to do. I don't know how to contact businesses. I don't have an agent anymore. But ever since going to Vid Summit and going to a workshop on how to contact businesses and negotiate, but appeal to what works for them, a lot of my fear has disappeared. I just didn't know what I didn't know, and I didn't know how to overcome that.
Interesting.
And I find that I'm a bit of a squeaky wheel where when I'll talk to people, what I'm struggling with. And a lot of times people come up with solutions. It might seem like I'm complaining. I think I have a natural habit of complaining a little bit too much, but some of that is I'm actually looking for a solution. And I've learned through Vid Summit how to address some of those fears and just go forward and talk to companies. And I'm very, very hopeful for the future of a lot of things that I want to do. Not in the process yet. I haven't contacted any companies. I'm still a little bit worried, but I'm going to get over that worry. And I have a workshop that I'll be part of that I've already subscribed to that'll help walk me through my fears and address businesses the way I should be addressing them.
Absolutely. But obviously, you've done so much and come so far. I know you were playing, but there is something to be said about like consistency and posting. You have 90,000 followers, 500,000 on TikTok. Like, that's incredible, right?
Yeah.
So I think sticking with things and pursuing things. So this concept behind fear, right? So you were saying that you're not sure yet. And Alex Hermosi said this really great thing on one of his podcasts that I was listening to. And he said that confidence without evidence is delusion. So obviously, you said you've been quite a competent person. From a young age, you probably showed yourself that you were competent enough to do certain things, to be able to believe in your ability to learn, to apply those skills, regardless of that, that milestone hasn't been hit yet, right? 90,000. Yeah. We just hit 100 subscribers today, Project Ultimate Lifers, and I am out of the moon excited. I can't even imagine 90,000, right? And you're like, oh, I've been having fun and this is only the beginning, right? So I can only imagine where that goes from there for you. So reaching out.
I'm getting all teary-eyed.
It's okay. I mean, I think this is something to be celebrated, right? And so those steps, that fear, it sounds like what you're saying is knowledge is actually the solution to overcoming fear. Did I hear that correctly?
Sometimes. I mean, there's I'd say that it's a mix. There's probably other things that can help you overcome fear. I mean, that's what bravery is in general. Like when someone's out in the battlefield and they're facing their fear, sometimes they just got to do it. So I guess it just depends on the type of fear and the situation. I'm honestly almost moved to tears. Like, I never thought I'd be where I'm at now. I'm just an idiot who's just young at heart and unapologetically me. And the fact that so many other people resonate is just such an incredible feeling. And that I have like such a great following. Like, they're just so supportive and so wonderful. And I've never imagined that 500,000 people have seen my face. That's unfathomable. Like, I cannot truly like grasp that. And just knowing that there's such a cool future ahead of me that I can do, and really the limit is where I stop myself. There's no limit. It's crazy. It's how much work do I want to put into it, how much passion. It's about drive, it's about power, we say.
Oh, girl, you're on it, 100%.
It's crazy. Like, I didn't really realize that I had all this potential, but I realize now that there's literally no limit.
You're limitless.
Oh my gosh, yes. It feels so cheesy, but now that I understand it now. Everybody has something that people can relate to. You are not alone, even if you're the most quiet introvert with a simple, boring hobby. Your boring hobby is something that a lot of other people love. So I would suggest to many, many people who feel like they're just uninteresting for the internet that no, you're not. Everybody has a story and everybody is intriguing. To me, at least.
That's how I see it too.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Okay, if somebody were wanting to get a hold of you, what is your page and how could they?
So my page across all of the social media platforms is Life of Cosplay. All one word, Life of Cosplay. You can get a hold of me. I don't think you can message on TikTok and YouTube, but my Instagram DMs, I will check those occasionally, as long as you are very decent about the things that you say and not like, don't make it weird. I also have the lifeofcosplay@gmail.com, but that should be linked in my bio.
Okay.
So if you need me for business purposes and stuff, I'm there. I can't always answer like individual questions, but I might someday make a Q&A, a couple Q&A live streams if there's enough need for it, I'll do it.
And even leads into coaching and
Yes.
helping people
That's funny
go
you
through
say
the
that.
steps that you're going through, help them go from point A to point B faster.
If there is a need for it, I am considering doing like an online coaching program, because there are a lot of repetitive questions and I just can't answer one-on-ones, because then those questions lead to more, and I have so many people DMing me the same questions. I cannot do that and still have an outside life.
100%, I get it. Okay. Is there anything else you would like to add?
The golden question, I see. I tangent so often that it's like I probably have quotes and stuff in there that are unrelated but interesting. Let's see. Is there anything else I'd like to add? Since about 2010, I've been doing a hobby that people have considered weird, childish. They think it's strange, right? Other people will go to sports games or read or do music or something as a hobby, and I'm over here playing dress up as a full-grown adult. And I don't let that stop me. And look at what it's become. It's become so mainstream. Even if it doesn't become mainstream, though, your interests, if they're not big, are now niche, and niche is good. Niche is good for branding and for building something online if you want to have an online presence.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and I can't wait for our next interview to see where we've come since then.
Please, yes, take me on your trips next time. I wish.
Give me
yes.
a high five. Awesome.